happening. Keep smiling in case it's already started. Oh, it's showing an ad. 1 second. Happening. All right, we are live. So hello to the CoinMarketCap audience. My name is Molly Jane. I'm CoinMarketCap's content lead. And today I have, oh, I can hear myself. Today I have Klaytn with us. They are the sponsors for our upcoming conference, and they're also a blockchain that you guys have definitely heard of. So for the next 40 minutes, I'd like you guys to shoot any of your questions into the live YouTube. You also can look at us on Twitter, tweet us questions. And for now, I'd like to introduce Aaron, Head of Marketing in Klaytn, and Sam, Chief Klaytn Officer. You guys can, tell the CMC audience who you are.
Sam, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you for introduction, and thank you for coming to this AMA session, everyone. So my name is Sam. Actually, I'm a Chief Klaytn Officer. So the title is quite unique. You never heard about this because this only exists at Klaytn. So my roles as a Chief Klaytn Officer here at Klaytn includes setting up Klaytn's roadmaps and leading the development and operation of Klaytn blockchain platform, and also managing the entire Klaytn group. So, however, because my background is technology and I have been leading the development of Klaytn since the very beginning, I'm more focusing on the technology side, while letting business leaders like Aaron drive the own technical side, like partnership or global expansion or marketing.
Thank you, Sam. So for me, I'm Aaron. I'm the head of marketing. So for me, basically, it will be to work closely with cross-functional teams together with Sam, the tech team, the BD team, and the partnership team to really showcase what Klaytn is all about. So a bit about my background, I think got started in crypto in 2018 when the coin crashed, and I think that sort of like piqued the interest, and that's where I got started down the rabbit hole. Being a traditional marketer of Web2, I think it was quite an interesting switch when I entered into the Web3 space. Started off with a DeFi project before joining CoinMarketCap for a short period, and then joining Klaytn now. And I think what we want to bring to the table with about Klaytn is we are the blockchain arm of Kakao. So we are a fork of Ethereum. At the same time, we have our own consensus mechanism. I think what we are focusing on is to really be the bridge of Web2 to Web3, because a lot of institutions, companies, they want to come on board. However, they are lacking a partner. And in that sense, even though we are a public blockchain, we do sit in the intersection between regulated space and the enterprise space and the DeFi space. So case in example, at the beginning of last year, we won the deal to build the CDBC for the Bank of Korea. On top of that, a lot of institution partners have actually agreed to come on board either as a governance council member with us or even to build their use cases on our blockchain. So definitely excited to be here to share more about Klaytn with Molly and Sam.
Great. So we actually already have an audience question, but I'm first going to turn to Sam just to ask a little bit about what inspired you originally to begin working with cryptocurrency in the first place, and when did you start?
Okay. So actually, I did my PhD on computer science, especially high performance computing and parallel programming. That might sound difficult, but after that, I actually worked as a research scientist or research engineer at our National Laboratory and Samsung Research. But there, when I was at Samsung, I read the Bitcoin paper, and it really fascinated me. And that was actually the beginning of my journey to the blockchain and the crypto, because the Satoshi Bitcoin paper, what they wanna solve, and how the Bitcoin works. After understanding these things, I decided to work on blockchain, especially blockchain platforms, and that changed my career. And that was that's the beginning. So after I fully understood, and that after I moved to the new blockchain company that Kakao founded in 2018, and started developing Klaytn. And that was my first experience, actually the development experience in the crypto space. And that's everything. And since then, I have been with Klaytn, experiencing a lot of events, also making a history of Klaytn. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. And apart from Klaytn, I never worked on other projects. So I did the crypto history with Klaytn. Yes.
Well, it all sounds like we all started in crypto at the same time, and we were all in some sense inspired by Bitcoin, which is, I think, a lot of people's entry into the crypto space. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the first question. This came from the audience, and then I'll add my own spin on it. So when I was looking you guys up, right now your website everywhere, Klaytn presents itself as the metaverse blockchain for all. And so from our audience, we have Ratnayash Pandey, who asks, what is the objective of Klaytn? What role is it willing to play in the blockchain ecosystem? And I'll ask a third question later. So what's the objective of Klaytn? What are you guys doing? What do you guys want to achieve?
Maybe let me take this question. Yeah. So I think for us, we see ourselves as the bridge connecting Web 2 to Web 3. Being an open source public blockchain, we want to sort of like straddle between the DeFi, the decentralized space, together with the mass audience and the institutions. Because I think we believe that for any technology to have mass adoption, it is always about government regulation and also with institution adoption. And as seen by any latest technology, the movement always starts from sort of like the institution and the ease of the user journey to allow them to come on board easily. And for us, we have been in discussions with a lot of Web2 companies. So case in example, since the beginning of the year, we signed partnerships agreement with GMO, the largest tech giant in Japan, Salim Group, which is the top 3 richest family conglomerate in Indonesia, One Entertainment from Thailand. Think of them like the Hollywood of Thailand. All of them, they are so rich in their IP, yet they are trying to enter into the creators economy. So for us, I think we view blockchain as a entry point for all these Web2 companies to be able to enter into the creators economy, the fan economy, or even sort of like your metaverse. And for us, we see metaverse as an all-encompassing. It's not just your virtual reality or your augmented reality, but it's more about the fan economy. How do we have in-game assets within a Web3 game to have that liquidity and freedom of monetary assets? I think that is something whereby Web3 or NFTs can actually solve. So with regards to our objective, I think having seen sort of like the turmoil in the past few weeks, people are looking for real utility within a blockchain itself and real use cases. And I think that's what we strive to achieve. So with regards to the blockchain ecosystem, I think Sam would definitely be the better person to share sort of like our tech stack. We are Ethereum equivalents, how we plan to build bridges to have the interoperability. But ultimately, I think we see not exactly like one chain will rule them all, but in terms of how can we actually collaborate with everyone to be able to bring blockchain to the people.
Blockchain to the people. It's a catchy, a catchy slogan. I think that the next question that Ratnayash put forward is actually perfect for Sam then, because he continued, what are the future prospects or achievements or plans that you have for Klaytn? So Sam, do you want to take it away for us here?
Yeah, sure. So our roadmap is we announced our roadmap for Klaytn 2.0 early this year. As that includes many aspects, and I'm going to introduce some of them. So as Aaron mentioned, we from the technology perspective, so we are an EVM based chain. So the EVM is actually supported on Klaytn, but by just providing EVM wasn't sufficient for the developers to actually make their dApps on Klaytn. So we decided to support actually 100% compatibility with Ethereum. So we call it Ethereum equivalence. So since early this year, we worked on how to support Ethereum equivalence on Klaytn, and actually we recently just achieved that. So we released a new version of Klaytn in March, and then after that, every tools in the Ethereum ecosystem can be seamlessly used on Klaytn, which means you don't have to modify the tools. You just use those tools on Klaytn to build the apps. So now everything is compatible. And apart from this Ethereum equivalence, we are also building we call it Metabolic Package. So we are developing this package for the Metaverse builders. So they can use blockchain technology and also other tools to connect their Metaverse or their games to the blockchain technology and blockchain ecosystem. Here we are proposing Klaytn as a platform for Metaverse. So with this this Metaverse package, they can easily integrate the blockchain technology to their service. And this package would contain a full suite of developer tools like IDE or the Block Explorer and SDKs and contract libraries, and also it also contains the layer 2 solutions or the blockchain solutions. So these first set of developer tools, as I mentioned, they will be, their development life will be easier than before. So that's two important milestones and the goals for our roadmap.
So I think that ties into a question that Ralph just asked in the YouTube channel, where he said, what differs Klaytn from other blockchains like Ethereum that provides things that are useful in the metaverse? So is there anything else you wanted to add about, how Klaytn sets itself apart?
Of course, definitely. So even though we are providing the 100% compatibility with Ethereum, which means the development environment is exactly, the same, very similar to Ethereum's, but which doesn't mean that the Klaytn itself is the same. So we use, for example, we use a different consensus mechanism. Instead of POW or POS, we are using BFT, the Byzantine fault tolerance algorithm. And with this consensus, everyone can have immediate transaction finality, which means you don't have to wait for 5 or 6 confirmation, or you don't have to wait for another time until your transaction is confirmed. So once your transaction is included in the block and the block is generated and everything is done, there will be no reverse, or there will be no confirmation needed for your confirmation and your transaction. So that's a major difference. And we not only provide the immediate finality, but also provide higher performance. So our Klaytn's block time is 1 second. So which means every second you have a new block, and the block is just immediately finalized as soon as it's generated. So with this high performance, and you will experience like the mobile application. So for example, when we are using the mobile bank application and payment application, we are not waiting for another 5 or 6 minutes or another 10 seconds. We just send the button and the result is just showing, right? So you can do that with Klaytn, and also the Klaytn has more the capacity of processing transactions. So far we achieved about 4,000 TPS performance. So every second the Klaytn can handle about 4,000 transactions. So those are major difference from Ethereum. So even though you can use the same tools and the same development experience, but you have more power and you can experience more, the better user experience with Klaytn.
So there's a few more technical questions coming in, but I think we'll switch over to non-technical just to like break it, just, keep our audience on their toes. So this is a question for Aaron. What are some of the current metaverse games out there on Klaytn, or just some ones that you're personally excited about in the future?
Got it. Thanks, Molly, for giving me some airtime. So I think building on what Sam has shared, I think how we differ is also really about our partnerships and the connections that we have. Due to our heritage being from Korea itself, I think as we all know, there's a lot of IP. Even in recent times, there's like Squid Game, Parasite that won a grand Oscar awards. There's a so huge bank of IP out there waiting to be harvested. So most recently, I think even within the gaming industry, 3 of the top gaming companies in the world, WeMix, Netmarble, and NeoWiz, have actually signed an agreement with us to either partner, launch their game, or even launch their token on our Klaytn blockchain itself. And that in this case, I think shows the trust that these game companies have on with Klaytn itself. So some example of the games that you're asking, there's like A3 Still Alive, and there's also Mere4, and even like Crypto Golf Impact. I think one thing we would like to clarify at Klaytn, we see Web3 gaming not exactly like play to earn, but it is more like play and earn. Because to the gamers themselves, I think they do not want to see gaming as a chore, whereby you are just grinding away to earn a living. But gaming is much more than that. Gaming is about community. It's about engaging. It's about chatting with someone across the world, making friends, and just coming together for the love of the game. And due to that, there are so much IP waiting to be harvested within the AAA game companies and also within the Korea industry itself. And I think that's also part of our unique value proposition, whereby we do have the connections with the Web2 companies, AAA game companies, and also the Web3 expertise and technologies to be able to bring these games to life on Klaytn blockchain.
Fascinating. I mean, I've played around with some play to earn games just for my research and my job, and I definitely think that balancing out the earning money aspect and making a really fun game is one of the most important things for the future of this industry, because some of the games I played were really just kind of clicking a button like over and over again until you got the result that you wanted.
All right, correct. Yeah. Definitely agree with you.
Definitely agree. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. So here's a good question. This is from Slar Channel. What was the reason that Klaytn was created in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I started this project with the team. So let me answer. So that back in 2018, when we thought about a new blockchain platform, and actually we wanted to have a blockchain platform that can be used with mobile applications, because the company that started this Klaytn project is Kakao, and Kakao is one of the largest IT companies in South Korea, and its major service is the mobile messenger service. It's called Kakao Talk, and when its users is more than 50 million. So with this kind of huge application and mobile applications, they really care about the latency and the performance of the backend system. So, but at the time, back in 2018, we couldn't find a good blockchain platform that can satisfy this performance requirement. And that was the beginning, because, as I mentioned, if we have, when you use mobile messenger like WhatsApp and Kakao Talk, when you send the button and when you click the send button, and then if you wait for 10 seconds or 1 minute, then who are going to use that service, right? So we wanted to have a blockchain platform that can actually be used with those kind of mobile applications. And that was the motivation that we started Klaytn.
So this is a question I'm just personally interested in because you've talked a lot about how Klaytn is in some ways a South Korean company. There are, Klaytn is also active in Singapore. What are your plans to expand Klaytn more globally? Or are those your plans, I guess, should I ask, to expand Klaytn more globally?
Yeah, definitely. I think let me take this question. So back in 2021, in around June, management decided that it was sort of like the tipping point, that it was time to really expand globally. And why is that so? Because in Korea itself, they have enjoyed such tremendous success. They managed to build a digital wallet that integrated with Kakao Chat that has allows the users to be able to access NFT marketplace, to be able to buy an NFT through your messaging app. And within, I think, a short period of time, within 6 months, the user base actually grew to 1 million users. And that was sort of like the usability, the user journey, and the user experience that Kakao's experience in the Web2 space brought to the Web3. And with that, they wanted to bring it to the global companies, other Web2 companies that were eager to come into the Web3 space. And I think within a short span of time, when we established our headquarters in Singapore in September 2021, within 6 months, we actually managed to sign almost like 10 over strategic partnership deals that were willing to build actual use cases on our blockchain. As we all know, in the enterprise space, just to sign an MOU might even take within 6 months to 2 years. And the speed and agility that these Web2 companies were willing to work with us is amazing. And we have also proven our credibility to be able to showcase that, yes, we have the tech, we have the brains, which Sam is leading, and we have the connections, which my boss, David Shin, has actually brought to the global adoption team. And I think in that sense, this is really our vision, to be able to help companies that want to come into the Web2 space. So with that said, I think that is our unique value proposition as compared to other blockchains itself, whereby think about from the compliance and regulatory space, from the legal perspective, it's all about counterparty risk. Kakao is a 100B Fortune 100 company in Korea itself. Would you be more comfortable signing off with a Kakao-owned blockchain as compared to maybe other foundations that are decentralized with headcounts all over the world with no legal recourse or maybe minimal at best? So in that sense, I think this is our unique value proposition, and we have really proven. Even most recently, Netmarble launched their token on the blockchain, Klaytn blockchain itself. It basically 100x within 1 week. And this shows the huge demand for Web2 companies to come into, and even among their consumers to want to participate within this creator economy.
So we have a few more audience questions I'm just going to jump right into. Here's one. I'm not sure who will take this one. Maybe Sam. This is from Petro Noticias, who asks, how will Klaytn deal with scalability in the near future?
Yeah, good question. So we for the scalability, we are doing actually 2 approaches. One is for the layer 1, the Klaytn mainnet. So we are optimized the implementation, and we are thinking about sharding and other the scalability techniques on layer 1s. But mostly what we are focusing on scaling the mainnet is to apply more parallelization, because nowadays the machines have more power, like we have more CPU cores and more memory and so on. So with this the more powerful hardware, we are going to optimize, and we are going to parallelize the implementation of the Klaytn core itself. And that's the approach, scaling approach for the layer 1, the mainnet. But on the other hand, we also have a layer 2 solution, which is, used for horizontally scaling the Klaytn network. So that layer 2 solution is called service chain, and is technically is a side chain. solution. So the how service chain works is just like how Klaytn main works, but it can configure the service. The users or developers can configure the service chain as what they want. So they can use lesser nodes, or they can combine their legacy system to this service chain. So horizontally, as we have more service chains, the entire network can handle more transactions. And also on the research side, we are also looking into the role of solutions like GK zero knowledge role of solution. So once we are doing our own research on this, and we might have the role of solution for Klaytn. So those are what we are doing for scaling the Klaytn network.
Yeah, because scalability is a huge issue right now.
Right.
Sometimes people forget because they look at a bear market and they think only about price, but I think that it's important for blockchain protocols to think about how they're actually going to build a future network that can support all of the users and the use cases that are coming in. So I guess this is also going to be a bit more of a technical question, but we can go for it. So this came also from Ratnayash on YouTube. So he wrote that he read on Quora that Klaytn has around 50 validator nodes, while Ethereum has over 10,000. What is the thought process behind that? And please let me know if also that's the correct information, you know, tell the audience about your, I guess, validator node system.
Yes, right. As I mentioned, Klaytn is using a different consensus algorithm, is the BFT based one. And the BFT, to run this BFT algorithm, we need a set of validators. So, but the number of validators can be, expanded to a large number, but so far we have around 30 validators, and we are going to increase this number of the number of validators to 50s and 100s gradually. So, so I know the Ethereum or Bitcoin have more nodes, but as you think about the actual validators or actual block producers in Ethereum or the Bitcoin, there are only a few the large mining pools. Those mining pools are actually dominating the network. Not if you, I myself, if I try to run a Ethereum node or the Bitcoin node, I cannot get any reward, like, because I cannot beat the large mining pools. But in a network like Klaytn, of course the node should be added to a validator set, but once that validator is participating in the network, they can get reward by producing new blocks and so on. So we are doing a different approach rather than Ethereum, because we also care about the performance. So people might think that the Klaytn is not fully decentralized because the number of validators is small, but we believe that the performance is also important. So we did kind of trade-off. We'll gradually decentralize network by adding more validators and by allowing more participants, more node operators to participate in this network. But we will do that while we are keeping the performance. So that's our approach. Yeah.
Okay.
And if I may add on, actually, I think part of the validators will be our governance council members. So it sort of like acts as a twofold pronged approach for us. First of all, some of our governance council members includes established companies like Binance, WorldPay, SK, and LG. So one part of the beauty about this partnership is that they would build their use cases on our blockchain to be able to enrich our ecosystem and bring their users on board directly. Since they already have the front-end user and interface, it makes a lot more sense for them to just complement the backend with the Klaytn blockchain. The second part is that if you think about it in the blockchain trilemma, it's either decentralization, scalability, or immutability. I think like what Sam has correctly highlighted, it is impossible to achieve all three. And for what we set out to achieve, in terms of our objectives and our goals. I think this made the most sense for us in terms of the main focus in terms of our governance council and consensus mechanism. And I think maybe the last point would be everyone is always complaining about maybe carbon produced out of the proof of work. So technically for us having only 30 validators, we are actually producing a lot or using a lot less energy compared to the 10,000 node validators on Ethereum. So I guess maybe it's a huge win for us then.
Yeah, that environmental problem is going to keep coming up because it is not only a valid concern, but I think in the crypto space, sometimes it's very hard to calculate how much renewable energy is being used versus, you know, quote unquote, the bad form of energy use and the effect it has on the environment. I think that it's a pretty open-ended question that people are still trying to figure out. So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm just going to ask for any more questions from the audience and then remind everyone that we are having our very own CMC online conference next week on May 26th and 27th, starting at 9 a.m. EST. We will have members from Klaytn joining our panels, lots of people coming. You might see CZ, you're going to see some talks by people like Michael Saylor, Samson Now, definitely something to miss. Tickets are free. Besides that, I think maybe on I guess more of a sad note, it is a bear market right now. People are worried about the future of the space. What is your advice for people that are in crypto right now to get through this current market downturn?
Okay.
Sam?
Okay, I can go first. Yeah, actually, this is a very difficult question to answer because everyone is having hard time these days. But so my advice is so look for good projects like Klaytn and support them by contributing to them on the development or use cases together, or just simply using their services. As long as the users and holders are using the services on the network, and I mean the people who are actually developing the network, developing the platform, or the learning the services, I mean they can work more to provide, to produce a better result or to achieve, the better results. So that kind of support is really needed, in this bear market. So giving constructive feedback to the teams, would be the best way to overcome this bear market. Yeah, that's my opinion.
I guess from my point of view, I think just to qualify myself, this is not financial advice, but definitely like what Sam has said, there are a lot of projects out there that have proven a real utility, like the Graph, Helium, so on and so forth. I would like to think that Klaytn, we do have similar objectives in achieving real utility. And the beauty about this is that comparing this particular bear market with the previous, about 2017, 2018, back then everyone was questioning, would Bitcoin even survive? Would crypto even survive? However, this time round, everyone is not questioning the sort of like the survival of Bitcoin, but it's more about which project would actually emerge. And I think that's where, like what Sam has reiterated, is all about the real use cases, utility, the team behind them, and the future vision. So definitely looking forward to the next bull market, whereby I think every project will actually emerge stronger.
Me too. I think a lot of us are. Okay, we have like one or two more audience questions before the end. This one comes from Juan Basio. Is there a way to stake Klay? I actually don't know the answer to this. Do you guys?
Yes, there is. There's actually Klay Station, or you can even do it via some like one of our GC members, Binance. They do offer staking services. Of course, there's also other forms like through the DEXs like KlaySwap, whereby you can put in a liquidity pool to earn some of their tokens. So we are actually a full-fledged ecosystem. And maybe just FYI, did you know that Klaytn NFT projects on OpenSea, we actually have the second largest trading volume on OpenSea. And that's something amazing considering that not a lot of people know about us outside of Korea. So I think besides staking, maybe you can use some of it to buy some NFTs.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't realize that. Could you tell me a little bit more about what Klaytn is doing with NFTs and what sort of artists and creators are using Klaytn as an NFT platform?
Got it. So I think within the ecosystem, as I've alluded previously, we have a huge bank of IP of artists and content creators. So some of them we have actually worked closely with to even create NFTs for giveaways, like KLAY. He's a famous NFT artist, or even like Sam Bang Bang, whereby he creates sand art and converts them into NFTs. On top of that, there are projects such as Samia, Meta Toys Dragon, whereby Meta Toys Dragon is created by, if I'm not mistaken, Sandbox Korea. They are a huge influencer company within Korea itself, and they have actually created an NFT project with a game element in the future. So I myself, I own one, and to be honest, the artwork is amazing. So I would urge you guys, please check it out and do join our Telegram, join our socials to find out more about all the projects. And I think FYI, check out Instagram, whereby we are actually showcasing a lot of the NFT projects that are built on Klaytn.
Excellent. I'll be doing that because I'm very, very new to the NFT space. We have one more question from the audience, and then we're basically almost done. This is a question coming from Daily Lifestyle, who asks, how can you run Klaytn nodes?
Okay, good question. So we have actually 3 types of nodes. So those are consensus node and the proxy node and endpoint nodes. So as I mentioned, the consensus node is run by validators, but we at this moment the opportunity of participating as a validator is limited. So because we cannot accept every node operator, so the number is limited. So but the running the endpoint node is open to everyone. So the endpoint node is actually used as a endpoint that provide RPC endpoint or the blockchain data. So also endpoint nodes validate the blocks. So those endpoint nodes are used with DApps, and DApp operators or anyone who like to learn this node can learn the endpoint node. And the proxy node is also part of consensus and the consensus node operator. So those proxy nodes can be run by anyone, but practically those validators are learning proxy node.
All right, so that was our very last question. I just want to ask Aaron and Sam, are there any things you want to say to the CMC audience, to the Klaytn audience about really anything at all? Any last words?
Yeah, I think last words wise is that we believe that blockchain is the future. And at Klaytn, our vision, be within the marketing, the business side, the partnership, and even the tech team, I think we are all aligned in terms of our vision for growth. We do not seek hyper growth within a short period of time, because I think that would be a lot of hype. And we have seen through the past recent turmoil, hype marketing might not be the best way to move forward. But we are in the build phase now. And I think with Sam and his team doubling down, always, I think putting a lot of overtime, I believe by year end, together coupled with our listings plan, our global expansion plan, and our partnerships deal, do look forward for greater things from Klaytn. Sam?
Sure, yeah. So the members at the Klaytn team are really seriously working. And so we are working so hard. And of course, our partners and ecosystem members and the communities are also supporting us and working together. So I believe this kind of collaboration and then the community will be the key for the blockchain to be used in the real world and to make a change in the world. So yeah, just if you are new to Klaytn and you are curious about Klaytn, just come to us and work, look for our information on the web, on the internet. And I'd like to ask everyone to make success stories videos. Yeah, let's build together. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming. One more plug for the conference. If you guys enjoyed this talk, you want to see more of me, or actually way less of me and more from Klaytn and some of our other sponsors and panelists, like please sign up. It's called CoinMarketCap, The Capital, Time to Ship, and it's taking place in the metaverse. So I've sent the link out into our YouTube subscribers, and check our Twitter and check Klaytn's Twitter to find out more information. Thank you guys so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Molly. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Molly.
Have a great weekend to you guys and all.